part 3 of episode 11 of Smack Talk, and we're talking about the Jericho again, as he's been dubbed by the internet. And I am once again pissed off about this. And before you guys say it, I know this is all about him trying to get us not to cheer him. I get it. That doesn't mean I necessarily like it. Just because a heel does something that's supposed to get a boo doesn't mean that it's a heel tactic. I think this is the kayfabe heel not coinciding with the shoot heel. This is shoot Jericho trying to get you to boo him, not a guy who's just a dick and you're supposed to boo him. So
This is generating David
please,
Arquette heat.
please do not comment on this and say that I don't get it. I do get it. I don't
No,
like
Tony,
it.
you don't get it. You
So
don't get it.
He
Chris
looks
Jericho,
like David Arquette in that outfit.
so Chris Jericho comes out this week and he does the same thing he did last week, except for this time he cries and leaves. Now, I hated it last week. I hated it this week. I'm going to hate it next week when they do it because I know Jericho's going to win this Royal Rumble and then cut a promo. They're going to keep him off that much. I guarantee it. And my response to this was to fast forward it throughout the entire thing. And it seems like a lot of people did that too because apparently this lost viewers as well. So if last week it lost viewers and this week it lost viewers, and then their big Kane attacks Cena angle lost viewers and all that, what the fuck are you doing, WWE? I would think next week it's going to lose viewers too, but they're probably going to keep it. And to me, that's the utmost sign of we just do not give a shit. This is what we want to do, and we're going to do it, and you're going to eat it and like it. So Jericho crying, don't like it. Jericho remaining silent, don't like it. Jericho coming back, like it. Looking forward to Jericho against CM Punk. But if this continues, I'm just going to keep fast forwarding it. And I'm not going to give a shit when he starts talking. What do you guys think?
Well, the viewers of WWE Raw did the same thing that most of my dates do when I start crying after sex. They all just walked away from it. But basically, I find that the whole thing. I was one of those guys. I literally I fast forwarded it, and just sort of like until the point where he was actually crying and going, "I can't do this anymore." It's literally I believe Jericho believes there's some sort of payoff that's going to be made out of all of this, but that hasn't been thought ahead yet. My issue is that they did all this build up and these promos and stuff, and this has no relevance to do with the apocalypse. This has no relevance to
Maybe
someone taking back what was theirs. You know what I
maybe
mean?
it's about how awful this storyline is that it's going to kill WWE. And by the end of 2012, between that and the network, WWE is just going to be dead. Maybe
Well, it's
that's it.
probably going to
Now
kill
that's
Jericho's
pretty
career.
deep.
Yeah.
Well,
But
it is stupid. It's literally this and between this and the Kane promos, I've literally just I literally pass every single segment now and just watch the wrestling.
yeah, like the reason it's coming off so bad is they built it up in a way where it's like, who was the female accomplice? Why is the world ending? Who is this person coming? And then it's just Chris Jericho prancing, crying, and dancing. That doesn't really go hand in hand with
Kind
creepy
of like
people.
Dancing with the Stars, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, he looks like he's auditioning for Dancing with the Stars or something. Every time he goes out there, he's got like the jacket on, and yeah. Uh, I get that he's trying to get hated, but he's going about it in a way that's, well, if you kill more the ratings more and make them go down, I don't think they can keep this up. They're gonna have to switch it unless they want to force feed it and end up with like a 0.1 or something of a rating, because this is not going too well. It's not going over very well, and they go on. I think he's had like 24 minutes between the two of them. 12 minutes last week, 12 minutes this week. That's a whole portion which you could have used for a match or something. You don't have to waste it pointing at the crowd and crying.
Right.
That's a waste of airtime.
That's
And
kind of what I would do. Just point and cry.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
if they want to have him come out and do nothing, have him come out and do nothing in a 3-minute promo.
yeah. Instead, you waste 12 minutes of him like going to the crowd, jumping around, and pointing, and then crying.
And if I already fast forward everything on my DVR, what I typically do, for those who don't know, I don't start watching Raw and SmackDown when they come on. That's why I don't tweet during the show. What I do is I start watching it an hour later, so I can skip forward through all of the commercials, all of the repetitive bullshit, because I don't need to see the Raw rewind and then see a Raw recap and then a SmackDown rebound and then a SmackDown recap and then let's take a look at Orton falling down the steps 8 times and then let's show you the same Hall of Fame announcement again and then let's show you the same replay and then the same replay. By the way, it's presented by Skittles, like that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So
Those.
that
Yeah.
the DVR just kills this, and I fast forwarded through another thing. So my episode of Raw last week wasn't 2 hours and 5 minutes. It was about maybe an hour and 15, and I didn't like any of it. So, what do you think, Daze?
Somebody call his mama.
I loved it. I think the aggravation he's putting people like us through is totally worth it. It's like coming out and being overexposed and being in your face. You're gonna love him. I love the Jericho trolling. Keep it up.
I would agree if it wasn't drawing viewers away.
Yeah, if this was one of those things where the Jericho segment boosted it up so much that there's no reason for us to complain about it, then we just have to eat our words and be like, look, maybe we don't know what they're doing and maybe it's working. But if people are tuning out, then it's not working. The whole business is supposed to be getting people to tune in. And if that's not happening, it's not happening.
I think the WWE's just kind of biting the bullet on some of these leading up to the Rumble, and the payoff the night after the Rumble when everybody tunes in to see what happens, especially if Jericho wins the Rumble, will be the better payoff.
No, I'd kind of disagree with you there, Dash. There's payoff and there's also relevance and then payoff. Like, if you're bringing someone back, you'd have the promos, the person makes their return and makes an immediate impact because they're feeding off those promos. And then after that, a person gets embroiled in a feud and has a few feuds before ending up in the, like, for going for a title if they're a main eventer, or mid-card title if they're mid-carder. You know, at the end of the day, you can't do what Jericho's doing at the moment, pretend to generate heat, work the boys in the back who think it's amazing, and have all your fans turn out on you because you're not doing the one thing that people want. People at this point in time want answers, and he's not giving them anything.
Well, the thing with this being a heel turn that I don't like is if they wanted him to be a heel, which I'm assuming they want him to be the heel against CM Punk, he couldn't have just come out and cut a heel promo. He would have been getting the same amount of boos that he's going to eventually get at WrestleMania if he came out that first night and said, fuck you all. Boo. All right, now he's the heel.
True.
The end.
No, but you know what
made
made Jericho? One of the things that made Jericho was that killer promo he did on Shawn Michaels, where he first started off as a face and then literally just turned around at Shawn and gave him this like ridiculous angry look and started name calling. And then Shawn saw what was happening, ran at Jericho, and then Jericho literally just started beating down on him. There's no, that was amazing because you had him come out as a face first and transition over to like a heel within minutes. Why couldn't he do that again?
Well, with Jericho, he never does the same thing twice.
Losing your base.
I always admired him for doing that because, to be honest with you, I'm tired of like the guys like The Rock. I'm tired of the guys like The Rock and Austin that come back and do the same shtick every single time. And Jericho's just trying to reinvent how he's going to be booed each time. But like I said, I think there's an ultimate payoff with it. When John Cena took the reins, they took a huge hit in ratings over the years. And now look at the buyout and all the sales for WrestleMania coming up with Cena.
But the only thing...
I think the ultimate... Good.
The only thing really different about him is just that he's a complete mute, but his mannerisms when he goes to the ring are like his old Y2J character. He does the pose, he does the thing bouncing on the ropes in his entrance, he does all that, except he just doesn't pick up a microphone, which is one of his strong suits in his entire career. So it's not really that much different other than him just not speaking.
And I'll tell you what, why couldn't they have had him come out and be a face and face CM Punk anyway? They've done face versus face before. Ultimate Warrior against Hulk Hogan, John Cena against Triple H, John Cena against HBK. HBK against Undertaker. They could have just had.
HBK versus Austin.
Yeah, well, no, he was a heel at the time.
Well,
Well-
he was a face with heel mannerisms.
So if they are just dead set on Jericho against Punk, which makes perfect sense, they could have had two faces, and it could have been both guys have legitimate claim to the best in the world. Who do you want to cheer? But
I guess Cena and Rock is just too big of a face versus face match to do too. I guess is there.
true. I didn't think about that. That's a good point. So before we start going too much on this, final thoughts.
I'm still giving it a chance. I think it still has hope to progress and get better. I'm not completely down on it, but if him being a mute is giving a ratings decline, then they gotta change it up a little bit.
I'm hoping there's a payoff. That's my hope in this. I'm hoping there's a payoff and that Jericho can actually save this very, very bad gimmick.
Days.
I personally, I love it, and I hope he keeps it up because I think it's really good the way he's aggravating the hell out of me.
And my final thoughts is I hope that there isn't a payoff, and this is punishment for WWE trying this in the first place. I think Jericho, if he thought of this, he was too cocky, thinking that it was going to work and be this masterpiece of an angle. And I think WWE probably didn't want to think too hard about it, and they thought that it would work. So I want them to be punished and get the viewers down so I can tell them to listen to my fucking show.
You know they listen, Tony. Who do you think
Possibly.
stole the idea of Daniel Bryan's heel turn and
So when we go to part 4, we're going to talk about yet again another thing on Monday Night Raw that I hated, and that's the Brodus Clay debut.
Somebody
Buggy
call his
on a
mama.
roll?